So today I'm going to talk about why Monte Carlo simulation is so important in the field of finance and why you should study this particular topic. Well, if I've done any scientific studies in your career, quite sure you have come across Monte Carlo simulation, right? If I've done mechanical engineering or physics or maths, it's quite unlikely that you haven't learned about Monte Carlo simulation, right? But Monte Carlo simulation is also extremely important a topic in the field of finance. It's used in many areas of finance, and it's perhaps one of the most important uh, mathematical concept used in the field of finance in many areas. And I'm going to discuss about few of the areas where Monte Carlo simulation is used. And it's a bit of a it looks like a crude concept. It's doesn't look like a highly scientific concept, but it's usually used all across the academic areas in the scientific world, right? It has an interesting history, right? It was during the time of Second World War when scientists were working in Manhattan Project in the US for the atom bomb, right? They were like top-notch mathematicians and theoretical physicists working to build the atom bomb, right? And they were solving mathematical problems in order to arrive at a solution for the chain reaction and all kinds of the things that you need to know if you need to do for for an atom bomb, right? And in back in those days there were not computers. The computers were barely invented. They were highly inefficient computers back then, so a lot of the things were done using hand. So people like John von Neumann, um, and many others, many scientists of that time used to do hand calculations to arrive at possible solutions for many things. And there was this mathematician called Stanislaw Ulam, who proposed this idea of using computers to arrive at solution numerically instead of using hand calculations and finding solutions analytically, right? It looked like a very crude concept, very non-scientific way of finding solutions, but it turned out to be a wonderful invention eventually. And now you see its uses in many areas, including the field of finance, right? Unlikely that you see a concept invented at the time of Second World War in the nuclear bomb, in the process of making nuclear bomb. It's now finding uses in the field of finance, right? In fact, in the movie, what is that movie? Oppenheimer. I think it's in certain scene in that movie. It was also discussed a bit when people are, I think Taylor, the scientist Taylor, and few others were discussing about it, and I think somebody proposed about Monte Carlo simulation, and yeah. So coming to the point, Monte Carlo simulation is used in many areas of finance, especially in derivative pricing. It's used. Um, so Monte Carlo simulation uses very simple idea, which is that you can automate sampling and resampling. Okay, sampling is a concept which is not new. I mean, it predates Monte Carlo simulation, but people used to do sampling using hand, right? I mean, imagine you want a sample which is distributed normally, right? You can easily also do that yourself, right? But imagine you want 1,000 sample with a mean of, let's say, 20. Asking someone to do this, I think it'll take a number of days even, right, to arrive at a proper sample. But for a computer, it's just a matter of few milliseconds, right? So that's the beauty of using computers to do sampling and resampling. And you can have several such samples. I mean, thousands and hundreds of thousands, even million samples in a matter of few seconds. Now with fast computers, you can easily do that. That is humanly impossible if you were to do it without the computers, right? And because of the computers, you now have the such samples, and then you just use a very simple way of just use the sample and find the output, and you keep on doing that for 100 times, 1000 times, as many times you want. The more the number of times you do this repetition, the chances of getting better results are more. So then you take an average and you arrive at a possible solution. Okay, and it has turned out to be really really effective also, right? It doesn't sound that, it sounds like a child is solving a problem. That's the way you do, right? That's like a completely unintelligent man, people who is simply not intelligent enough, is actually solving this problem. But that's actually not true. It really works. Just try to solve a linear equation using Monte Carlo simulation. Just do a bit of research. You will find how easily you can find solution, an approximate solution to a linear equation using Monte Carlo simulation. I mean, you can also use Monte Carlo simulation to find the value of pi. It's also possible, right? So in derivative pricing, it is used even on the lending side. On the lending side, in the risk modeling area, people use, if you are building models for project finance, portfolio, where the future cash flows are not very well known, and in order to arrive at the net asset value or net present value of all the future cash flows in the future, because of the success or the lack of it, you need to do simulations. You need to simulate various scenarios and then arrive at that kind of. So it's also used on the lending side. Many people have this perception that Monte Carlo simulation is only used in the market products. But it's actually not true. Even on the banking product side, Monte Carlo simulation is used. Right? Monte Carlo simulation is also used in market risk management for value at risk calculation or stress value at risk calculation, expected shortfall calculation, and so on. Okay, that's one of the many ways. There are other ways to do it also, by the way. Okay, simulations are also used for uh, in various other areas of risk management, such as in stress testing, scenario analysis, and so on. So, therefore, it's important to learn Monte Carlo simulation if you really want to work in the field of finance. And the best way to learn Monte Carlo simulation is to take some examples and do. You don't have to learn the theory. There's hardly any theory in Monte Carlo simulation. It's just easy to do, right? And there's some underlying algorithm like Metropolis algorithm to solve problems in using Monte Carlo simulation, but you don't have to go into the details of those theoretical topics. I mean, the computer anyway has. I mean, if you really want to understand that, nothing wrong. I remember when I studied, I learned a bit of the mathematics behind it. About I mean, the intuition is not too difficult to understand. It's just that how to how to solve it effectively, efficiently using a computer. There is a bit of mathematics involved there. But I would highly recommend to use Monte Carlo simulation to solve few problems. Just take any mathematical problem and solve, and you will get a better sense of it. And if you want to learn for the finance, do a project. You know, do a just value at risk model, build a model using Monte Carlo simulation. That's one good way of learning. Uh, but you could also, I mean, you can also solve regression models. Even time series models can be solved, I mean, through Monte Carlo simulations. Explore that topic. That's in fact an assignment for you. I remember that was an assignment for me when I joined uh, a quant team long back. That was my one of my assignment given when I was just about to work in the industry, and I was being trained. So we got an assignment. I got this assignment to do. So you can also try it out. That track any ML model or statistical model, and try to solve the equation not through uh, the conventional techniques that you probably have heard, least square techniques uh, uh, um, or the gradient descent and all that, but try to solve using Monte Carlo simulations. That could also be a project in itself, right? Okay. Um, on this channel, we'll make one detailed course on Monte Carlo simulation and put it. But any questions?